Live from WTVO Rockford and your home team. Eyewitness News at 6 starts now.
President Biden meeting with Ukrainian refugees this weekend, his bold message to Russian President Vladimir Putin. And celebrating women-owned businesses in the state line, the characteristics discussed today during an event that can help females succeed in the business world. Plus, it's hard to buy local when you don't know about local businesses, where we can go this weekend to learn about local shops and services. Good evening, I'm Marissa Lesner. Thanks for joining us this evening. President Biden in Poland this weekend meeting with Ukrainian refugees before addressing a crowd of nearly 1,000 people. Here's ABC's Karen Travers with a look at what the president had to say as Russia's war with Ukraine continues.
In front of a crowd of nearly 1,000 in Warsaw, many waving American, Polish, and Ukrainian flags, President Biden delivering a passionate defense of democracy.
A dictator bent on rebuilding an empire will never erase a people's love for liberty.
The president seemed to be taunting Russian President Vladimir Putin.
This war has already been a strategic failure for Russia. Ukraine will never be a victory for Russia.
Mr. Biden declaring Putin's weeks of attacks are backfiring.
Rather than breaking Ukrainian resolve, Russia's brutal tactics have strengthened the resolve. Rather than driving NATO apart, the West is now stronger and more united than it has ever been.
Earlier Saturday, President Biden getting a first-hand look at the humanitarian crisis caused by Russia's war, meeting with Ukrainians who fled their homes to escape the violence. Poland has taken in more than 2 million refugees.
See all those little children? Just want to hug. They just want to say thanks. It just makes you so damn proud.
The Ukrainian city of Lviv, just 40 miles from the Polish border and once a destination for refugees, had been mostly spared any major attacks since the Russian invasion began. But on Saturday, several powerful explosions rocked the city. Russia now pushing for a mission reset after suffering repeated setbacks on the battlefield. The Ministry of Defense saying the plan all along was to focus their efforts on taking control of the Donbas region in eastern Ukraine. But from Kyiv, where Ukrainians have pushed Russian forces back some 40 miles, to Kherson, where Russia has now lost control, to Kharkiv, which Moscow's ground forces have been unable to take, Putin's war has stalled.
That was Karen Travers reporting. President Biden said Ukraine, the U.S., and European allies need to be clear-eyed about the battle ahead and be ready for a long fight. More than 3.5 million refugees have fled Ukraine, most of them to Poland. 2 Polish-born citizens in the UK were devastated by what they were seeing and desperate to help. They booked an entire hotel in northern Poland to house refugees for free, and the couple isn't stopping there. They saw firsthand how traumatized the refugees are and are now providing mental health services at the hotel. The couple says the real heroes are the people who have donated money to the mission. You can contribute to that campaign on GoFundMe by searching Ukrainian Refugee Hub in Poland. Back in Illinois, an update from Rosemont this evening where police are questioning a suspect in connection with a deadly shooting at a mall, but the search continues for a second suspect. 20-year-old Joel Valdez was shot and killed at the Fashion Outlets of Chicago just after 7 last night. A teenage girl was injured by a gunshot wound to her wrist. The search of the mall is complete, but police say they are still interviewing witnesses and reviewing surveillance video. Police say it was a targeted attack, but they have not determined a motive. Looking ahead here in the state line, a portion of State Street in Rockford will be closed next week for construction work. West State from Day Avenue to Independence Avenue will be closed starting on Monday. Crews will be expanding the road from 2 lanes to 4. Motorists can expect delays and should allow extra time for detours. The $6.5 million project includes new storm sewers, signals, sidewalks, and a multi-use path. Work is expected to be complete by the end of September. The NAACP Rockford branch hosted a networking tea party for women in our community who are leaders today. And it was the perfect way to wrap up Women's History Month. Nicole Delgado was at the tea party and joins us with more.
Well, Marissa, the Midway Village Museum was filled with women all across from the state line for the Boss Tea Party. Organizers tell me this event is focused and acknowledging powerful women leaders in Rockford who are not noticed very often.
Honoring women in the community that they deem as bosses, women who hold positions and titles and who are really contributing to their community.
Saturday, the NAACP Rockford branch hosted their first ever networking tea party. One of the guest speakers was Director of Student Life and Intercultural Student Services at Rock Valley College, Lavinas Muhammad, and she says she is happy to be here with powerful women who envision new possibilities.
And so to be able to honor women who are doing things, and especially women of color who are doing things in our community, I think this is absolutely phenomenal.
The collective message is to always work hard to stand up for women in power and support each other.
Organizers tell me they hope that attendees will leave with
partnership, friendships, power, strength, wisdom, and willing to push forward.
Both Robinson and Muhammad believe all women need to be recognized for all their hard work.
Women, we're mothers, we're wives, we're sisters. We carry many titles outside of our workplace, but to be able to be honored for all that you do, I think that's just amazing.
Organizers say this won't be the last time they honor and celebrate women in our Rockford community. Marissa?
All right, thanks, Nicole. The RoRo Expo is back this weekend, and it's under a new name, the State Line Business Expo. This event takes place at Hononegah Community High School, and it's the first time it's back since COVID started. The expo is operated by the State Line Chamber and is free for the community to attend. More than 100 local businesses are taking part in the expo, and they range from health to landscaping to community service and everything in between. The chairman of the expo is excited to be back.
Everybody is so excited to be back. It's just been fantastic to see all the smiling faces and see all of the businesses that have always supported this, all the consumers coming back. It's just been a fantastic sense of community here.
The event runs tomorrow from 10 until 3. For more on the expo, check out mystateline.com. This weekend marks the 30th annual Model Train Show in the State Line. More than 43,000 square feet of displays are featured inside Harlem High School and McChesney Park. Toy trains weaving their way through model cities and towns, many of them interactive. Organizers say it takes a lot of creativity and skills to pull off these elaborate displays. This event runs tomorrow from 10 until 3. Admission is $5 per person, and kids under 12 get in for free. Welcome back. In the fight against COVID-19, the Biden administration plans to offer another booster shot. The New York Times reports Americans who are at least 50 years old would have the option of getting a second booster, but there are still a number of questions like how long protection from a second booster would last. Officials are worried that protection from another dose would wane if there is another surge in cases in the fall. The FDA could make a decision about the booster early next week. The United States is calling for tougher United Nations sanctions on North Korea. It follows the country's test of its biggest intercontinental ballistic missile on Thursday. North Korean television broadcast the missile test. It was edited to look like a feature film. The U.S. is proposing a measure that would strengthen Security Council sanctions imposed on North Korea following its first nuclear test explosion in 2006. Hundreds of people are still searching for a second black box at the impact zone in China, where a plane mysteriously crashed 5 days ago. Persistent rain has complicated the recovery of that flight data recorder. 132 people are assumed dead from that crash. Crews are also recovering their remains and belongings. The first black box was found heavily damaged on the outside, but the internal unit was mainly intact. Investigators say it's too early to discuss possible causes of the crash. And take a look at this. An ice shelf the size of New York City has collapsed in East Antarctica. Scientists say it's concerning because the region where it happened was thought to only be mildly affected by climate change. It's the first time in human history the area has had that shelf collapse. A warm spell last week saw temperatures in the area soar 70 degrees above normal. The shelf had been slowly shrinking since the 1970s. Then in 2000, the shelf's ice loss sped up to losing about half of itself every month.
Now, your first warned weather forecast from meteorologist Jordan Wolf.
Well, those snow showers from earlier this morning have now given way to mostly clouds that we have been dealing with here this afternoon, and some of that warm other weather continues to move on to the east. Those clearing skies behind that cloud cover will actually help to drop our temperatures down quite a bit here this evening. There's all that weather working its way off to the east coast, giving us actually clearer conditions and some higher pressure that's working its way through. We did have a little bit of snowfall. Poplar Grove Airport was actually a little bit of a blanket of snow under there this morning. Right around a half an inch fell just north of Belvedere through all the snow showers that we had last night. Temperatures now still are in the 30s. It's very cold for this time of year, about 15 degrees below average. But we are seeing some peaks of sunshine, especially out to the west, where those temperatures are beginning to warm up. Our Weather Watcher update, we check in with Mike just north of Forreston, coming in at 32 degrees, so right at that freezing point, and he did not record any precipitation here today. Now, our wind speeds are still out of the north and out of the west, so giving us just a little bit of a wind chill factor out there here this evening. This was a graphic I was hoping to put away when we spring forward into the year, but unfortunately I have to bring it back out because our wind chills are still back down in the teens and 20s here this evening. Those wind chills will be a little bit of a factor out there here this morning as well. We'll see the Futurecast showing out clearer skies through the day. Temperatures tomorrow morning all the way down into the teens. We'll work our way quickly back up, but only get into the 30s tomorrow. Not really very many clouds, though, so we'll have a lot of sunshine, but not really very much temperatures warming to go with that. Those clear skies actually hang with us for the next couple of days through the day on Sunday and Monday before another weather system works its way in on Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll stay below average for the next few days until Wednesday, that day that we get above average, but that's because of the weather system that'll be bringing us some rain showers into the day there. So we'll check out a little bit of the reasoning of why that's happening here with the jet stream map that we're watching. This is where the jet stream is going. There's a little bit of a bulge, but not really enough to give us any warmer temperatures. But then that trough comes in behind that, and that will bring us the next weather system into the back half of the week. It could bring us some more rain showers. Now, that weather system is looking very similar to the last couple of weather systems that we have been dealing with, bringing us initially rain showers and then some snow and mix on the back end. Something still to keep an eye on here this week. After this weather system works out, our temperatures will remain below average for the next 6 to 10 days. That's April 1st through the 5th, according to the Climate Prediction Center outlook there. Temperatures tonight, though, still down into the teens, 19 degrees for our low. Hanging on to those clearer skies, though, through the day tomorrow, we have sunny skies, but only temperatures get up into the 30s, 35 degrees for our high temperature. The next 7-day outlook still shows those temperatures very cold over the next couple of days, and then that chance for rain through the middle of the week, and we stay cold into next weekend.
Now sports with sports director Scott Lever.
West Coast trips can be rough on the Blackhawks, but they started their current trip off with 2 wins over the Ducks and the Kings. This afternoon, they were looking to go 3-0 if they can knock off the Golden Knights in Vegas. Second period action, the Hawks are up 1-0. Alex DeBrincat feeds the captain in front of the net, 2-0. Blackhawks time for a group hug as they would go on to extend that lead to 3-0 on a Dylan Strome goal, but the Kings came back with 3 straight goals early stages of the third to tie it. Then midway through the third, the Hawks retook the lead. Patrick Kane to Alex DeBrincat, who gets his 37th goal of the season, 4-3 Hawks. But just 53 seconds later, Alex Pietrangelo fires through heavy traffic. The puck deflects off the leg of Kirby Dach. Kevin Lankinen never saw it, and the game is tied at 4. To overtime now, and Eddie Dadanov between the circles fires it over the shoulder of Lankinen. So the Golden Knights battle back from a 3-0 deficit to win in overtime, 5-4. Well, the table will be set this weekend for the Final Four in the NCAA tournament. The Peacocks of St. Peter's are a win away from landing in that. So far, they've beaten Kentucky, Murray State, and last night Purdue 67-64. The next team standing in the way is North Carolina. That game will be played tomorrow. If the Peacocks win, they will be in the Final Four.
We've been in these predicaments the whole season. Close games coming up to the end. We're down 6 with 2 minutes left. What are we going to do there? And it seems like we just keep getting into those positions and we keep prevailing.
We just went out there and did our thing.
We've been doing what we've been doing all season, which was defending and playing as hard as we possibly can. And then the emotions at the end, again, it's just we're making history. We look forward to keep making more history.
Should be a bit of a playoff atmosphere tonight in Cleveland, where the Bulls will take on the Cavs. The Bulls are only a game ahead of the Cavs in the playoff seedings in the East. The Bulls beat the Cavs in the last meeting 2 weeks ago, but the Bulls have lost 5 of their last 6 games, and they will be without DeMar DeRozan. He has a thigh injury. Fred VanVleet and the Raptors will be hosting the Pacers tonight. The Raptors have won 7 of their last 10 games. They're in the same boat as the Bulls and Cavs, fighting for a favorable playoff seed in the East.
We don't have any chance to let down anymore. The situation we're in, I think we all understand where we are in the standings and how close things are, 1 through 6. All of these games are important, very important now.
The Packers have another new free agent addition. They have signed former Raiders cornerback Keyshawn Nixon. He's primarily a special teams guy. He had 18 special teams tackles in his 3 seasons with the Raiders, but he will provide some depth in the defensive secondary. It was a scary moment in Formula One racing today during qualifying for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. That's Mick Schumacher crashing into the wall in turn 9. He is the son of 7-time world champion Michael Schumacher. The medical exam at the track showed Schumacher did not sustain any serious injuries. He was taken to a hospital, though, for a more thorough evaluation.
Welcome back. Well, I feel like we really got spoiled on Monday, and then it's just kind of been downhill from there.
Yeah, definitely the 7-day forecast doesn't show anything close to where we were on Monday. I don't remember what the actual temperature was, but we were almost well above 70 degrees. I remember that for sure.
It was really nice.
A very nice day, but that doesn't seem to really be the case here today. We had those snow showers that actually moved through yesterday, giving us a nice blanket of snow in some areas. Rockford really only got very little bit. The airport recorded just a trace of snowfall. Those snow showers still continuing here through the evening into the overnight tonight. Now, most of those tonight actually will be pretty well moved out. That was our First Warn Interactive radar from Rockford Auto Glass and More. Now, we will actually dry out for the next couple of days, but our temperatures really don't get much of a bump. We only see 30s and 40s for Sunday and Monday. We have 40s again for Tuesday. That's when that weather system begins to work its way back in, giving us a chance for some more rain Wednesday and then maybe some mix on Thursday, and then we'll stay dry for the rest of the week.
All right, we're going to try to enjoy that on Wednesday. Have a great night.